My name is Louise, and I am your trustee on duty today. On behalf of Reverend Donna Maurer, the Board of Trustees, and the practitioners, I am privileged to welcome you to the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are truly welcome here. Here you will be validated, supported, and encouraged to be all you were meant to be. Our vision statement is, love in action, every day, in every way. We express this love by learning and living the principles of the science of mind. On the back of our programs, you will find our Declaration of Principles. Please join me now in reading these. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. I would like to thank all the people that made this Sunday celebration possible. And first of all, that is you who are sitting in these chairs. If you weren't here, it would not be the same. And thank you to the ones who make sure everything is set up and in order for this gathering. Now, please direct your attention to the announcements that are in the bulletin. If you are watching online, please visit cslaz.org for our announcement and events calendars.
The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. It is all for our greatest and highest good. The God in me beholds the God in you, and you and I are one. Namaste. Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. I'm Jon, and I am your practitioner this Sunday. The practitioners are the healing arm of our center. If there is anything going on with you that you would like treatment for, please fill out one of our blank cards over on the table, and it'll be our honor and joy to do treatment for you all this week. So Easter. My reading this morning is from the CSL Global Theme for April, weeks 3 and 4. Easter, with its profound message of resurrection, can symbolize renewal and the possibility of new beginnings. The resurrection story reminds us that even in the face of adversity, there is hope for transformation and growth. This theme encourages us to embrace the concept of renewal in our own lives. Just as the earth renews itself with each passing season, we too can experience personal resurrection by letting go of past burdens and embracing new possibilities. This process involves reflecting on our experiences, learning from them, and using these lessons to foster growth. By integrating the principles of resurrection into our daily lives, we cultivate a mindset of continuous improvement and transformation. Which brings us to the principle of regenerativity. Have we all heard of that? Regenerativity. Regenerativity is a profound spiritual principle that emphasizes the continuous cycle of renewal and growth. It calls us to see every ending as a new beginning, transforming challenges and obstacles into opportunities for personal and spiritual development. To fully embrace regenerativity, we must shift our consciousness toward sustainability, not only in our environment, but also within our own lives. Spiritually, regenerativity invites us to embrace the cycles of life with grace and optimism, understanding that each phase holds powerful potential for transformation. By continuing and committing to sustainability in all aspects of our life, we align ourselves with the natural rhythms, fostering a deeper connection with the world around us and within us. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This principle aligns seamlessly with the concept of regeneration, resurrection, and the law of growth, both of which emphasize continuous evolution and renewal. By actively renewing our minds, we cultivate a mindset that is open to change, adaptable to new circumstances, and receptive to growth. This transformation is not just about changing our thoughts, but about fundamentally reshaping our perceptions, attitudes, and responses to life's challenges. Embracing this transformative process allows us to align more closely with our highest potential, fostering a life of resilience, adaptability, and ever-expanding growth. Renewing our minds becomes a catalyst for profound personal and spiritual development, leading us toward a more fulfilled and enlightened existence. Thank you. Namaste. So I light our service candle, which represents the light of resurrection and renewal within each one of us here this morning. And I will be over there holding the high watch for you.
This is a song that I do on Easter every year, every single year. So many of you have heard this one before, and some of you, this will be brand new for you. This is the very first New Thought song that I wrote and recorded from, 2017. And it's called A Song for Easter. Spirit's working within me to vibrate good in the land. But if I wait to jump in the circle, or the cards I'll stay in my hand. So I listen and I read and I study about how to do it all just right. Gotta make sure that I'm convenient and move my way in the spotlight. But if I stay quiet, then what will get done? Not speaking up doesn't help anyone. This is my rebirth. This is the joy in learning my place on the earth. This is the time, if not now then when. You can't have a journey if you don't begin. When you follow the rainbow, there might not be any gold. Wine on you down from the top of the earth, 'cause there's so much joy to behold. The world is your oyster, so don't be a crab. Grass ring is there, just reach out and grab. This is your river. This is the joy in learning your place on the earth. This is the time, if not now then when. You can't have a journey if you don't begin. This is your river. This is the joy in learning your place on the earth. This is the time, if not now then when. You can't have a journey if you don't begin. Happy Easter, everyone. Namaste.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Easter. We're down on the floor this morning because Jon is going to join me in the talk. And I didn't want him to try those steps up and down. He's kind of shaky, and so am I. I'm there. But we do this twice a year at Easter and at Christmas. And it was a tradition that we began in Florida. And we've been doing that since we've been here, which has been 19 years, something like that. Yeah. It helps. You get a chance to know Jon from a different perspective, I think. And that's important to me because he truly is my rock. You know I don't like Easter. I'll start right there. Because the Easter story is one of the hardest to explain and to believe or not believe. As most of you know, I do not believe in a physical resurrection, and that flies in the face of most Christian believers. But I have read a lot by Bishop John Shelby Spong, and he doesn't believe in a physical resurrection either. Plus, he cites a whole bunch of people that agree with us. Bishop Spong is really interesting, and someday I'll tell the story, believes that the true resurrection is through Peter. It's after the death of Jesus and the devastation that was from the disciples that Peter went home and he began to see the light. He began to see all that Jesus taught, all that Jesus was. And through Peter getting back together with some of the disciples, that's the resurrection. That's the transformation that is coming into form, something that had been lost. Anyway, that's another story. But I found, I was watching. I get the news feed on my computer rather than watching television. And did you know that there's a big fight between the Christians and the Catholics? Did you know that? Another one, yeah. The Christians and the Catholics have been arguing about the exact date of Easter for over 400 years. Catholic and Orthodox churches have used different ways to determine the date of Easter. The movable date for Easter follows a seemingly straightforward rule: the Sunday following the first moon on or after the spring equinox. But the two churches started using different calendars after Pope Gregory, I think it was 13th's adaptation in 1582, when the Western Church adopted the Gregorian calendar, while the Eastern Orthodox Church kept the older Julian one. And moreover, each church uses its own ecclesiastical calculations for lunar cycles and the equinox, which don't neatly match scientific projections. The result is that Easter dates can be as much as 5 weeks apart. And they can coincide in back-to-back years, or a decade can pass without it happening. And this Easter, it's happening on the same day. That's why this whole argument's coming up again and trying to come up with something that makes sense. But it strikes me as kind of funny that we are supposed to believe in a physical resurrection from people who don't know what day it's on. It's like, and I think that unfortunately that's somewhat sad, because I think a lot of people throw out the baby with the bathwater. If I have to believe in a physical resurrection, if I have to believe in a virgin birth, if I have to believe that a star stopped in the sky so the shepherds could follow it, then that counts. I'm a Christian. But it flies in the face of everything that we believe in as human beings. So there is a tendency to say, well, forget it, I just won't go to church. But the thing is, there are nuggets in that are so phenomenal, so amazing, that you and I need to know that. So here is what I can believe. The Easter message, as Jon said, is one of hope. It's one of everlasting life. Is the one that tells there is a new dawn and a new tomorrow within any dark night in which we may be entrenched. It's a story for our day and time if we listen with an open heart. According to Scripture, The Easter message continues as Jesus, after the resurrection, reveals himself to Simon Peter, but Peter doesn't recognize him. And later, Jesus comes to the 11 disciples to walk and talk with them. So whether these are actual events or metaphorical, it matters little. What we do know is that this man, Jesus, touched these followers with such profundity that the message had to be carried. As Jesus talks with the 11, we are told that their minds were open to a new understanding of Scripture. And they were told that they were the ones who would teach forgiveness of sins among all nations. And Jesus says to them, "Ye are witnesses of these things." Just what had they been witness to? In their walk with Jesus, they were shown a faith so strong in something greater than the infallibility of the human that manifested in healing of body, mind, and spirit. They were shown the power of prayer, of speaking from that inner consciousness that knows itself to be greater than any human capacity. They were shown the power of forgiveness as it applies both personally and universally. And they were given 2 commandments: love God, love each other. These are the things to which they stood witness. This was the message that they were to carry on. And the beauty of all this is that we too stand witness of these things. Today, more than ever before, you and I need to stand witness to the truth that is within us when we embody the love, the faith, and the courage that was shown by this gentle sage from Galilee. In Scripture, Jesus also tells the disciples, "And I will send you the promise of my Father, but remain in the city of Jerusalem until you are clothed with power from on high." The word Jerusalem means place of peace. From a metaphysical perspective, to remain in Jerusalem is the call for the disciples then, and each of us now, to go into our heart, to spend time in spiritual contemplation. Then, when we come to our world of affairs, like the disciples, we bring an abiding consciousness of spiritual peace. We see from the eyes of love, we hear with compassion, and we speak from inner spiritual wisdom. The promise to which Jesus referred is that of a greater, more loving, more abundant life through the outpouring of the gifts of Spirit. And for us, this is the promise of an abundant life, a life filled with joy, with peace, with a fearlessness that can only come when we stand in complete faith that we are part of and undergirded by something so much bigger than ourselves and our frailties. And to remain in the city of Jerusalem until we are clothed with power from on high, that's simply telling us that the consciousness of the planet, the healing of the world, begins right where we are, in our own heart, that place of peace. No longer can we point fingers telling the world or our neighbor or our spouse, sons and daughters, what they must do to turn their lives or the world around. When our finger is pointed at another, there are 3 pointed back at us. When we spend time in prayer, in the Jerusalem of our heart, in contemplation of our own contemplations of our own oneness with the universe, we see the outside world not as something that needs to be fixed, but as something that is longing to be loved. And just as the disciples who stood witness to the power of Spirit, we can stand witness to the power of the presence within each one of us. We stand witness when we look beyond appearance and see God in the person that is standing in front of us. We stand witness when we love one another. We stand witness when we forgive. We stand witness when we embrace the glory of each morning, knowing that we are part of all of it. And we are more than witnesses. We are also participants. The world needs each one of us to be active participants in its healing, contributors to a higher consciousness that can turn everything around. But it has to start within each one of us. And it must be a deep commitment. So we begin right where we are in our own inner silence of the heart, so that when we do emerge, it is with the peace that passes all understanding and from the majesty of our own soul. And what we find then is that we are compassionate rather than judging. We are loving rather than condemning. We are healing agents that build up others rather than tearing them down. We are transformed, and in that process, we transform the world around us. We have a call, you and I, to stand witness to the truths that Jesus taught through our beliefs, our words, our actions. And as we do this, the world will stand witness to us. Thank you. Namaste. And here's Jon.
Well, good morning. Reverend Donna selected standing witness for this Easter Sunday. In Reverend Donna's talk, she has referenced the New Testament in regard to the life and teachings of Jesus. I'm choosing to follow a different course as to how we stand witness in our world today. Unfortunately, we have been witnessing a great deal of destructive forces that have caused many of us to consider whether there is any hope for a positive outcome. It often appears that hate is more prevalent than love. Fear replaces hope. Distrust overrides trust. Hate, fear, distrust are all destructive forces which have been described as evil. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, in the first edition of our Science of Mind, published in 1926, refers to evil as a destructive force in nature and good to be which is constructive. He says evil will disappear in the exact proportion that we cease doing destructive methods, and good will appear to the degree it embodies the constructive methods. To turn from evil and do good is to cease talking about evil, believing in or doing evil. If, on the other hand, we believe in a world that at its core is perfect, whole, and complete, we can then proceed with constructive methods that do give us hope. If we believe in God that is only good, and by embodying this good in our thoughts and actions, the world will reflect this good. After all, how many times do we affirm that there is one life, it's God's life, and it's our life, and there is a power greater than we are, and we can use it. We believe that we are individual expressions of God, created in the image and likeness of God. The power that will cause the planet to make the choices for good begins with our choices. In Scripture, we are told that God gives us a choice to choose good over evil. In Deuteronomy 30, I have set before you today life and prosperity on the one hand, and death and destruction on the other. What am I commanding you to do today? Is to love the Lord, our God, and to walk in his way. I begin my talk with witnessing of destructive forces in our world, and that our work is to cease from talking about evil, believing in evil, or doing evil. And now I would like for us to consider what we are witnessing in our center. When I look into the faces of our members, what do I see? Is a love for each other? Is a caring for each other? Is respect for each other? We are special. We are magnificent. We are love in action. We are powerful, and we are witness to a miraculous evolution of this center. With humble beginnings in a hotel room to our beautiful sanctuary, fully supported by the membership and the support of Ooh La La, as well as the salon, we are also witnesses to the countless demonstrations of the healing power that has transformed the lives of many of us here. We are witnesses to the good we have done in our community, with our members volunteering for needed services in the community. We are truly a powerful group. With all that is said, perhaps we are at a crossroads where one might ask, where do we go from here? Could it be possible that our future will go beyond what we have accomplished? Do we have the capacity to eliminate destructive forces, replacing them with constructive methods that will bring about an end of war, an end of poverty, and the end of disease? Over 2,000 years ago, a small group of Jesus' disciples witnessed Jesus' life, his teachings, and after his death, they may have asked, where do we go from here? And the answer was to establish one of the world's greatest religions. The disciples answered the call and moved forward. We are also called by the divine Spirit to express that divinity within us so we can be the love, the truth, the beauty, and the joy in the world. Our founder closes the Science of Mind edition of our textbook with what he entitled The Call. This I saw, or else some inner presence made it known to me. The universe is filled with life. The air, the sky, the sea teemed with intelligence, with majesty and might. And deep within me, some subtle inner sight beholds and sees, comprehends, and knows the all. No fears, no falters, but answers the divine call to be as one beyond the bounds of time and space, to overcome the bondage of the human race, and leap with trust undaunted, free into the depths of that infinite sea, whose waters calm are ready to receive those who in simple faith believe. I believe. I love you all, and have a wonderful Easter.
All right. So if you would like to stand, you're welcome to do so. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet morning, spring in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, thine is the morning, born of the moonlight, Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the
I want you to join me in our offering affirmation. My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good. No, abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Don was talking about how we began in the hotel room, and here we are. You know, it makes me. One of my favorite children's books when I was a little girl was The Little Engine That Could, and I often think that that's what our center is. If you look at the trail, coming up with $60,000 and $30,000 and $50,000, and we did it. And if anybody on the outside looking in would say, that's impossible. But it isn't, because we do believe in miracles. We do believe that there's a power and presence that is greater than we are and that can do things, that can help us be guided to do things that we think are beyond our capacity. So let's close this portion out with Happy Easter and close out in prayer, and then please join us for refreshments quickly, and then Paul's going to give a little presentation of the work that he has done. It's so pretty. And in our prayers, I want us to specifically include Marianne Akers. Unfortunately, she's back in the hospital. But we just see her taking full, deep breaths easily and gently, and knowing that all is well, okay? So I take a moment now to just know that God is all there is, and by God, I mean that divine intelligence that is everything, that is everything. It manifests itself in nature, in humans, in the stars, in the galaxies. It manifests itself through our thoughts, feelings, beliefs. And in that, the actions that come from that, we indeed become healing agents on the earth. So I know that that is what we are, that is what we do, and I give thanks for that. I do speak a special word for anyone who's experiencing any kind of challenge, and know that God is right in the midst of that. I give thanks to be part of this spiritual family and community, and know that we have indeed something special that we share with each other as our hearts are always open for the love and the joy and the harmony that is ours, as we say together, and so it is. And then we stand and sing stand. John.
So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand